Why do you think only Tamil Nadu was targeted by the Union Finance Minister in the debate at Lok Sabha?
Look, I think Tamil Nadu represents the last bastion of true states' rights and good economic performance in this country. Most states, the BJP either won the election or came through the back door by toppling governments, buying MLAs, etc., etc. And there are very few states that retain their independence directly. Of those states, if you see, the performance of Tamil Nadu has been phenomenal. Let us just compare 2 or 3 statistics. This year, the union government's budget deficit, fiscal deficit in the budget is almost 7%. Ours was closer to 3.5. Today, inflation in this country is almost 8%. Ours was closer to 5%. Whichever way you look at it, today they say GST revenues are up 20-30%. I tell you, we have not published the numbers yet, but our revenues are up greater than that. So here we have a functioning government that is showing compassion, social justice, and yet delivering superior returns. This rubs the notion of the colonial powers in Delhi the wrong way. The colonial powers in Delhi would have us believe that all laws only they know how to make. All funds should go only to them. All control should be in their hands. And the state should become mere empty vassals and slaves saying, yes sir, 3 bags full. But Tamil Nadu shows that you can go another way and do better. So this is the reason why Tamil Nadu is always targeted, in my opinion, and why the very principles that Thiru Narendra Modi, when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat for 13 years, the very principles that he espoused, that when we espouse them now, we find we are in direct contrast and contradiction with the union government, because all of a sudden the champions of states' rights have become the worst authoritarians in the history of India. So the target on us is simply because we know where the Constitution draws the line. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say the union government gets to legislate on state subjects like school education, like agriculture, the farm bills were brought, like minor dams and ports, all these things that are state subjects, the union government wants to thrust his hand. The same way the union government wants to control all finances. Every finance commission, we get less and less of our tax money back. At one point, we used to get 60% of our tax money back as untied money and only 40% through some scheme, some central grant. Now it's gone the reverse. We get almost no money untied, and all the money is based on how they say we should spend. The portion of our money we get back. If this is not colonialism, what is it? So they don't like people who stand up to colonialism. I can't think of any other reason.
மத்திய அரசு மேல இவ்வளவு கோமா ஜிஎஸ்டி போட்டுட்டீங்கன்னு சொல்ற டிஎம்கே பிராண்டட் ஐட்டம்ஸ்க்கு மேல தான் டாக்ஸ் போட்டிருக்காங்க ஜிஎஸ்டி கவுன்சில். அது மத்திய அரசு போடல, மோடி ஐயா போடல. ஜிஎஸ்டி கவுன்சில் உங்க மந்திரியும் உட்கார்ந்து இருக்கக்கூடிய ஜிஎஸ்டி கவுன்சில்ல தான் நிர்ணயம் ஆச்சு. அதுல 5% தான் பிராண்டட் ஐட்டம்ஸ்க்கு மேல வரி போடணும். ஏகமானதாக எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்து unanimously எடுத்த decision.
Is it true that Tamil Nadu agreed on 5% GST on the branded food products?
That is the partial truth. As the Honorable Union Finance Minister herself indicated in her social media tweet about 10 days ago, in fact, this rate increase was part of a 3-step process. The first step was the Fitment Committee of IAS officers, which included the Tamil Nadu Commissioner of Commercial Taxes, recommending a series of changes in rates. At that time, there was a written submission and an oral submission by the Tamil Nadu IAS officer that we were against this hike. Subsequently, all those recommendations were taken up by the GOM or the GST subcommittee on rate rationalization. At that point, many discussions were held. Though Tamil Nadu is not a member, I am not a member, I sent in a written submission saying that we oppose this hike. At the end of the GOM's kind of discussions, they produced a summary report that had 56 recommendations for rate rationalization. Some increase, some lowering, some leveling, some duty inversion, tax inversion, removal, etc. During the full GST Council meeting in Chandigarh, which lasted 1.5 days and had something like 20 agenda items, of which one of those items was this entire 56-item GOM recommendation report. It was offered to the GST Council to either agree in full or disagree in full to all 56 items rather than take each one up. There was simply not physical time to take those up for discussion. On that basis, the entire committee's report of 56 items, including this item, was agreed upon. So though the Union Finance Minister explained this fully in the social media and outside Parliament. In the Parliament, she glossed over the fact that it was this three-step process and just made it look like it was a single decision on a single item that was put to vote. It was not. The collective 56 items were put to vote.